The creation of money has ordered people into obedience so that we may all contribute towards the evolution of society, so that life is improved for all. Isn't that the goal of society? The improvement of our condition via cooperation? But has life really improved for all? And are we really cooperating? We may have greatly improved the life of a few, as they bathe in luxury and possessions, but at what cost? As all growth comes at a cost. Society not only continues to destroy the natural world as a casualty to fuel its demands and desires, but the creation of money has given rise to a great temptation that is irresistible to many, because it provides a great and easy potential for abuse, and that is power. And because society is so separated, greed is created and goes unpunished. And because money is what grants freedom and is not distributed well, equality is absent. The problem with money is that those who power trip, since they hunger more than another, take more than needed and leave the rest famished. The more that are rich, the more that are poor. Concerning balance, life cannot exist in extremes, but financially, the world is in an extreme. There are the ridiculously rich and the woefully poor. If we are to be intelligent and follow the guidance of the universe, there must be balance in all things. The scenario of the world is this: all the money in the world is put into a pot, and few, who care not about the others, have shoved the many aside and filled their basket to the brim, and ran off to hide in the dark crevices of society, leaving only coins to the rest to fight over. One man's prosperity at the cost of others. That is the current condition of society, because money only creates inequality and takes your authority and freedom and transfers it to another. As it was under the rule of nature, a community, not a society, was all about a harmonious participation. The difference between society today and a community in the past is that a community is for each other and society works against each other. What holds together a community is love. What holds together a society is money. What has a stronger foundation? The only thing sustaining cooperation, if that's what we can call it, is money, which means it doesn't take much for that cooperation to turn into hostility. A community was a team effort, but in society there is no team. It's enlisted slavery and everyone for themselves. Do you have doubts? If a primitive community was given money, how do you think it would be distributed? Do you think they would share it equally, since they know each member of their tribe is as important and equal as any other, and that they care for one another? Or do you think they would follow suit to the modern way, which is to create someone who is deemed more valuable and important, called the owner or CEO or whatever, who gets, let's just say, 85% of all profit, and the other 15% is shared among the other 200 workers, even though they all matter equally in whatever purpose the business has or provides? What does that say? Since each individual's overall worth is proportional to what they get paid, and if workers are getting paid a sliver of what the higher up positions do, that means that the higher positions do not value them at all, that they do not really care about them, hence why they get so little. And so one person thrives and the rest struggle, even though they all matter towards the goal trying to be achieved. It's not about teamwork like it was in the past. It's now slavery. Society does not care about you. Therefore, you shouldn't care about it. How have we allowed this to happen? And why do we allow it to continue to happen? Because we are so separated. And if only we united together could we balance out the problem of money, which is that some take more, leaving little to the rest. We let greed go unchecked. It's very easy to create equality once you remind the higher positions of your importance by mass threat to abandon them. People have to fight back against injustice and inequality, or it will rule over them indefinitely, as it does now. It's very easy to fix in principle. We just have to fix it with unification. It's easy to bring equality back into the world, only with cooperation. Do you realize how much of the world would be better off if money was shared equally? That all are equal and all provide to sustain each other, reinforced by the love for one another. But a society that gives more to one and takes away more from another is not right. We cannot call it a society if we are not united and not in agreement with our situation. Prosperity of one at the cost of another is not an ingredient a society should have if it desires to last. You do not realize it, but money has created constant war, a constant tug of war, because one person's life depends upon taking money from another, and so many spend their time exploiting the needs of people, which needs have been created by society, in order that they can transfer another person's money over to themselves. So really, we are at constant war with each other. We cannot make an equal living for all if the other person's survival is dependent on taking away from others. Money only creates inequality, and a society whose foundation is built upon inequality will not last, because its laws are not modeled after an eternity like nature is. What do you think would happen if the cells of your own body felt inequality about themselves? That they did not agree to their condition and grew jealous of the more likable conditions of others. There would be revolt, and the body would fail, as society will naturally, in time, in a state of inequality. For society to last, equality must be maintained, and therefore money must be eliminated, unless it can somehow be shared equally. Money has propelled this society in one direction successfully in certain aspects, but it will be for naught if equality is not maintained. Money is the root of great evil and abuse, and will always be present to that which provides its potential. Money also makes us do things that we otherwise wouldn't be motivated to do in the first place. Money is business, and business is about providing services. Therefore, everyone serves whoever has the most money. That's what society does. All our daily struggle and time devoted in this society is just for maintaining the lifestyle of the rich and those hiding in secrecy who puppeteer the world for its dark agenda. It's not just about living anymore. Business and trade has become corrupted from its original purpose. Its original intent has turned into a sickness and is infecting everything. The love of money is the love of inequality and the enslavement of others. If someone says he or she loves money, they love only inequality, and that love is an extension of the darkness of their own psychology. They only wish to put their hoof on everyone's back so that they may prosper. But someone who is intelligent and has a sensitivity for life and others will disapprove of money in this society, seeing its true nature, because they value something that money cannot put a price on: spirit. He who sees the cause of all actions will see that modern business is just the attempt to exploit weaknesses in people's psychology after it has been created by the environment that society has made, in order to get them to buy their product so that their money is transferred over to themselves. People even go so far as to take advantage of a person's misfortune and use it as a monetary opportunity. Modern business lays traps everywhere, enticing people into their grasp. Many are deceived and take the bait that is cast, believing it is a benefit to them. Nothing in this society is ultimately for our benefit. Do not be deceived. People do not act to ultimately help others. They offer services and products because it ultimately benefits them. If the world ultimately acts for its own self-interest and gain, should we be surprised at the outcome? Society is not for our benefit. It uses and abuses you and will discard and replace you when you become worn out by it. Look at all the financial attachments we are bombarded with. Electricity, sewage, water, internet, housing, a car and its upkeep, gasoline, medications, entertainment subscriptions, insurances, taxes, a cell phone, clothing, etc., and all the other things that are now deemed as a necessity of modern life. Most people just get by financially, so they work their whole life only to give away what they worked for to others, and then worked their whole life doing things they never liked, so they never really lived at all. And in this process of being forced to do things they don't want to do, they give up their soul, because they listen to the direction that society gives them and not their own. We have shut up the soul of so many and enslaved them to the profit of another. We mass manufacture people who know only how to make money and not much else, and we wonder why the world is the way it is, when all people do is chase money, but never themselves. To know who you truly are is the greatest privilege in life, something many will never experience. With everyone chasing money, the consequences are not difficult to see, because all things are at the cost of obtaining money. Modern man salivates over what treasures the earth hides in anticipation of his own prosperity. He will gladly sell the world for his gain, that he can have more things from overlogging the forests, or overfishing the oceans, or factory farming creatures. What does it matter, as long as the prosperity for one is gained? Everyone has become misguided by the creation of money, and now man has become too dependent on his destructive ways to be able to correct his error. His life depends on the system money has created, and so will continue his ways until a catastrophe. This idea of society fathered by money will run its course, and its course is coming to a closure. As long as money has the utmost authority, man will continue to dig up the earth and pollute and destroy the environment and habitat of all creatures and himself, all for the sake of more money. His own prosperity relies on the poverty of the world. He will destroy the lives of many for the gain of one, a sacrifice from which no good comes out of. That is true evil. He who acts to make his own life better at the cost of future generations. That someone knowingly performs actions that are a detriment to all life and its future, but can give him a temporary benefit. A good man is willing to sacrifice for the greater good, but modern man's interests lie only upon himself, unlike the person who takes only what he needs, realizing his place and his calling, being an ambassador of what is agreeable and good, a shepherd of the earth, a man of spirit, God, and nature. Man should enjoy peace as it comes, and fight when needed against what is unjust and disagreeable, or else it will soon have more power than good, as it does now. But money has turned even the good into bad, directing their feet on the wrong roads and making them perform actions which are negative to the well-being of all things. Money has authority over what intelligence suggests, and since the mind exists to remove error, error flourishes in intelligence's dethroning. That is the problem of money, that people act upon what brings profit, not what is intelligent or harmonious. All life must take in order to live. All life requires a certain amount of sacrifice. This we cannot escape. But when the take exceeds the potential to give, then has an imbalance occurred. Those who are molded by nature will thoughtful in their taking. If an area begins to give less and less, they move on, being nomadic, and then the area recovers soon after their absence. But with the ever-increasing population, there is no moving on, for demand always exists everywhere, and we will cut, fish, and hunt everything down in existence until there is nothing to support us anymore. How foolish of man to not consider that his own life depends upon the prosperity of other life, that everything that lives owes its existence to another creature or kingdom. The ancients understood this, but money has led us astray. Having money is not just about food, not just about survival. It's now about having things. Man mistakenly places his happiness in material things. Money has tempted man, and he gave into its seduction. It is true that man was made for motion, meaning he loves change and performing change. It gives him his life, and that's why all new things will bring happiness and excitement, as all material things. But it does not last for long, and then you move on to the next thing, and the next, always desiring but never fulfilling, and these are called empty pleasures. All material things are empty pleasures, and whoever longs for the food of matter will always eat but remain empty. Money makes people worship matter because money is the way in which man can achieve all that the world offers. Cars, women, boats, fine cuisine, property, drugs, he can have it all by means of money. But he has nothing of worth. His faith is mistaken. He who truly has worth finds refuge in spirit and nature, by having an intimate connection with life, because these keep one full, not subject to endless longing. What creates happiness? Fulfillment. But man is so empty when so full of money. Money has led society far, but it currently leads us to a dead end, and we have almost arrived there. He who is rich is poor. He who has nothing has everything.